Okay, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create puzzle cube parts. Um, you did a skateboard, so it's much easier than creating a skateboard. So if you want, you can reference those steps on how to create parts, or you can follow along with this video. So we're going to create a new sketch. It doesn't really matter what plane. I tend to do everything on the front plane. So once I have a sketch, the part that I'm going to create is you'll see the part that I'm going to create. So remember that your cubes are 0.75 each little wooden cube. So it has to be some derivative of 0.75. So either 0.75, I'm sorry, 1.5 or 2.25. So we're going to make this piece 2.25 in length, 2.25 in width, I'm sorry, and 0.75 in height, 0.75 in height. There's going to be more to this, so I'm going to actually add another part at the top. So I'm going to add another square. I clicked on the line, it turns yellow so that it constrains it to that line. So it's fixed to that line. So then I can add these dimensions 0.75 and 0.75 because I want a little piece sticking out at the top. You'll notice that the two lines are still blue. That's because I still need to figure out the distance from here to this edge. So I can do that by dimensioning from here to this edge, then going up and adding 0.75. Now what you'll see is everything is black. Now at this point, you can hit escape to get out of the dimensioning tool, or you can go over here to this the little scissors and you could actually cut away this part. You don't actually have to do that. If you notice, if you do that, now this line no longer has a dimension to it. So you'd have to go back and add the dimension from here to here at 0.75. Then it's back to black. Once I finish that, I'm going to extrude it. Now my extrusions are going to follow the same 0.75, 1.5, or 2.25 scheme. So we're going to click there, and then I'm going to extrude this piece 0.75. 0.75. Once I have it extruded, I can go ahead and take a look at it. I have this piece like this. Okay, and so now I can create my second part, or what I can do is I can actually create another part file. So I'm going to go ahead and actually let me add more to this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on the surface. So I'm going to do new sketch. This time I'm going to hit normal, so it's in the middle. Take this, and I want to make this a little piece stick out. So if I touch these corners, that means that this rectangle is going to be constrained to those corners. If I go down here, it's going to be constrained there. I notice that it all turns black because I can't change the dimensions because these corners are all stuck to these lines. So once I have that sketch finished, I'm going to go ahead and extrude apart, and it's going to be 0.75. 0.75. All right. Now this part is done. I want to change the color of this part, so I'm going to edit the appearance. Edit the appearance. I'm going to make it yellow, or this orangish color. And I'm going to change the name of this part to yellow part. So I'm going to rename. I'm going to call it yellow. Hit enter. Or whatever color you decide to make it. Now, it says Part Studio 1. Let's go ahead and we're going to leave it as Part Studio 1 for right now. Because I'm going to show you how you can create all of your parts in one part studio. And then I'm going to also show you how you can create each of your parts in different part studios. So I want to make sure the planes are gone because I don't need to see the planes anymore. And I want to create another part that goes around this part. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a sketch on this surface. And now I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to show you how to create it using like what we call subtractive manufacturing. So I'm going to actually make a larger rectangle. So I'm going to go here, touch that one, touch this one, and go over. We have this rectangle. We're going to go all the way to this corner right here. Click it. Notice it turns black. That means it's all constrained. I'm also going to create another smaller rectangle. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go here, and it's going to be black because it's all constrained. Now, to create this part, I can cut away this bottom section, or what I can do is I can just only extrude the portions that I want. So I want to extrude this around like that, and it's going to be 0.75. 0.75. I want to make sure that it's on new because it's a new part. And then I can go ahead and click the check mark. I'm going to make this one blue. So go here, edit appearance. Let's go ahead and make it blue and rename it blue. So that's one way to create your parts. All right. So you can create various parts that way. Or what I can do, which is actually for this particular assignment, since you already have your dimensions done in your engineering notebooks, it's actually easy to do as well, is I can create this part in a different part studio. So I'm going to go ahead and name this one yellow, because I made the blue one disappear. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this yellow. Okay, so it's yellow. And then I'm going to create another part studio. Create part studio. And I'm going to name this one blue. Rename it. We'll call it blue. And again, create on the front plane. Right click, new sketch, normal. And now I'm going to create another part. So I'm going to start at the middle. I'm going to make a rectangle, a large rectangle. And it's going to be 2.25 by 1.5. Okay, so there's my rectangle, 2.25 by 1.5. I need to have another rectangle in the middle. So I'm going to go here, create another rectangle here. Excuse me, 0.75, 0.75. And you'll notice this one is blue. It's blue because I need to add a couple more dimensions here. So I need to add a dimension from here to here. It's going to be 0.75. Now it's all black, so everything is filled in. Everything is good to go. So now I can finish the sketch, and I only want to extrude this outside portion. So all I do is go to extrude, click on the outside portion. It's extruded. I need to make it 0.75 and change the color. So I'm going to edit the appearance, change the color, make it blue. I'm going to rename this part, rename it blue. And then we're done. So we have our two parts, okay? Our two parts. Either way it goes, when you do your final assembly, you're going to have to put the parts together using your make constraints. So let me show you how we put these parts together. So if we go to assembly, we're going to insert, and I want to insert the yellow part. I'm going to insert the yellow part right there. Notice that it does the yellow and the blue part. I don't want to do yellow and the blue part, so I'm going to actually X out of there. And I need to go to this drop down and just do the yellow part. So I'm just going to put the yellow part. Go ahead and click the check mark. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert, and this time I'm going to insert the blue part. So I'm going to click on blue and put it here. If I did it as separate part files, I can do it this way, or if I put them both in at the same time, I still have to constrain everything together. So the next thing you're going to do is you need to fix one part in place. That makes it so that this part doesn't move. So we're going to go here and we're going to go to fix. So now I can't move this part around. I still can move the blue part around, but I can't move the yellow because I fixed it in place. So now this blue part, it needs to fit kind of like this on this yellow part. Notice how even still, like they're not together. It's because they're not constrained together. And just moving it and placing it is not acceptable. You actually have to mate them together to make sure that they fit properly. So we're going to move this part out, and we're going to figure out which two surfaces we can fix together. And Onshape is really cool because once you constrain these two surfaces and you fix the orientation, you don't have to fix any other surfaces together. So I'm going to go to my fasten mate, and I want to find the middle of this part, that portion of that part, and the middle of this part. And I'm going to fasten them together. Okay. Just like that. All right. And once it's done, I can click solve and I can do the rest of my parts once I have them made. And there they're fixed together. Now, what you'll see is that I can't move these two parts because they're stuck together. Now, let's assume that you did this and you ended up with your part looking like, well, that doesn't actually matter. Let's say you had it this way, where the parts were upside down. These two little functions right here, this is flipping the direction that the mate is made it. So instead of going down, I can flip it to make it up. And this rotates it around that axis, around the Z axis. Okay. And then I can solve it. So then what you need to do is create the rest of your parts for your puzzle cube. So the rest of the parts to fit the puzzle cube so that it meets all of the constraints, and then put your assembly together. Your assembly is going to be a separate assignment. So right now I just need you to make all of your parts and then reference this video when it's time to do your assembly.